Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 63. In this lesson, the student will learn about the 2-1-1 rule. Let's get started by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the card pack for the student, some blank index cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the keyword pictures and the keyword sentence. Remember to take that drill out once the student has mastered the short vowel sounds. For the phonemic awareness drill, you need the instruction sheet and the colored tiles. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. You'll need to have the syllable card drill cut out and set up on the table in advance. For the reading and spelling magnetic letter tile drills, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape for the student. In addition to that, you'll have the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllables worksheet, the single word list, the short story, and the sentences for the writing portion of the lesson. In addition to all of that, you might have a timer on the table. And you'll need this if you've introduced the fluency part of the program. You'll need a secondary program to do this, such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. Let's do the sight word study method. Student, take out your card pack. I'd like you to read every word in your card pack. When you get one correct, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. Once you're finished reading all the cards, you'll hand the card pack to your teacher. And then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and you will write each one down. When you write one correct, then in the other corner of the card, you will put a check mark. And teacher, you are ready with blocking strategies in case the student encounters difficulty. Once you're done, have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. Any of the words that are mastered will be removed from the card pack. This will leave space so that you can introduce a new sight word. It's time for the short vowel drill. You'll need your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. This is a drill that will be discontinued when the short vowel sounds have been mastered. If you're still using it, then you'll take 2 fingers and with the keyword picture, you'll trace the picture and say the target sound, apple, and then underline it and say the sound, ah. Do this as many times as your teacher deems necessary and then move on to the next picture. Afterwards, you'll read the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. You'll need your colored tiles for this one. Take out a tile and place it in front of you and say zzz. Okay, take a second tile. You'll need a different color for this one. Place it right after z. The second tile is called E. Say E. Now put the 2 sounds together and tap it and say it. Did you get Z? If you did, that's right. Now change the E into oo. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Z-oo. Did you get zoo? If you did, that's correct. Now find the Z in zoo. Change the Z into a O. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get loo? If you did, that's correct. Now change the oo into an What's your new word? Did you get la? Now add a new one. Let's put it on the end and we'll call this t. Can you repeat that sound? What's your new word now? Tap all 3 and say it. Did you get lut? If you did, that's right. Let's turn it into a real word. Change the into an eh. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get let? I let the ball into the net. Okay, great work. You can put your tiles away. It's time for the visual drill. You'll need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes the card, and the student says the sounds. What are the two sounds of this one? Did you say a and a? If you did, that's right. Great work. Teacher, use about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way, and then come back to me. Now let's do the auditory drill. Student, your sound is ks. Can you make that sound? Now I'd like you to write down the symbol for that sound, ks. Say the sound again as you write it down. Once you're finished, underline it and say the sound again. Now let's check your work. Did you say X makes the sound X, that K sound and S sound combined? If you did, that's right. Teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill. The teacher has this one all set up on the table and ready to go. The student will read down the syllables in each of the columns, moving from left to right. Then the student will read across each row, making nonsense words. Then it's time to unscramble the syllables in the different columns to form real words. As the student creates real words, remember to encourage the student to define the words and to use them in sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. You can place your hand under your chin, and when I say a word, you'll repeat the word, and every time a syllable happens, the jaw drops and it hits your hand. Another way to do this is you'll stretch out your arm and you'll tap your arm every time you hear a syllable. So you could say less sun, and you'd have 2 fingers that pop out to represent the 2 syllables. Here it is, ready? How many syllables are in nay? Did you say 1? Nay. I hear the A sound in that one. Try this one. Navy. Did you say 2? Navy is a very nice color. Okay, try this one. Evening. Did you say 3? Good evening. How about this one? Icon. There's 2 in that word. I hear the I sound and the awe of all living con. All right, great work. Now we're going to do some scooping syllables. So you'll have the scooping syllables worksheet, and if you need it, you can have your instruction sheet for scooping syllables right beside you as well. You'll have to take that one out of your notebook. Teacher, you can coach as much as needed, and you can also tell the student, you've got an eye on the time there, teacher, so you can tell the student how many words there's time to do. In past lessons, we've been looking at how open syllables work when we add suffixes to them, endings to them. Let's look at a really common open syllable as an example. Can you tap this one and say it? This one says go. What would I have to do if I wanted to turn go into goes? He goes to the store. What suffix would I add? Well, you might hear that there's that S sound, so if I just added an S, the suffix S, I would run into a problem, wouldn't I? What I've done is I've created something that looks like a closed syllable. So this would create confusion, and people would read the O as ah, and you would think that was goss. So in order to avoid that, instead of adding S, we add ES. So knowing what you know now, if I took a different open syllable, I'll take do. How would you turn do into does? Here, you write it down, and I'm going to do it as well. ES. We'd add the suffix ES. In open syllables, it's quite simple to add the suffix ing. How would you add the suffix ing to an open syllable? Let's try do. Okay, I just made it. Do you want to check? Did you write it down as well? I said do ing, and I just slam it right on. Okay, so when adding ing to an open syllable, the rule is just slam it on. So try go. Let's turn go into going. Actually, no, you know what? Let's do a brand new one that we haven't done yet. Let's do B. So we're going to take the open syllable, the base is B, and we're going to add the suffix ing to do being. Ready? Let's check your work. B plus ing, and you just slam the ing on. Perfect. Now with an open syllable, we have to wonder what happens when we put it in the past. So let's start with a closed syllable, because that one's really simple. We know that one like the back of our hand. Let's try a closed syllable such as slam. Could you write down the word slam? Just tap it out and then write it down. I'm getting the letters for this one out while I'm doing it too. Okay, let's check. Did you get S-L-A-M? Okay, well, I want to turn slam into slammed. He slammed the puck into the net. This is a closed syllable, so what spelling rule do we apply when we add an ending that starts with a vowel? Here, you do it and I'll do it, and let's see what we come up with. To find a letter here, so you might finish before me. Let's see who finishes first. Okay, if you're already done, you can explain to your teacher the rule that you applied. Okay, ready? Let's check our work. Did you remember to double the M? If you did, that's great. So when we have a closed syllable like slam, if we add an ending that starts with a vowel, we have to double the final consonant if there's only one consonant at the end of the base there. When we have an open syllable, we don't use ed to put it in the past. Instead, we make a brand new word. So let's go back to that word go. And I can't just add ed. That's not what we do in the open syllable. So what would be the brand new word? I go, I have. Let me see let's see who can write it first, you or I. Gone, I have gone. We use the exact same pattern to form the past of do. So go becomes gone. Do becomes, do you know? Write it down. Let's check. Done. Great work. By now, you're pretty much an expert at the 1-1-1 rule. You know that this applies to closed syllables, this spelling rule. And let's take a word like swim. Do you have your magnetic letter board there? What's the first sound that you hear in swim? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in swim? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in swim? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in swim? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now I'd like you to add the suffix ing onto swim. Think about the spelling rule that needs to get applied. And do that now. Ing is a suffix that starts with a vowel. So let's go through our 1-1-1 rule. We have one syllable that has one short vowel followed by only one babysitter. So we're going to add a second babysitter. We want to really separate the vowel and the suffix from the vowel and the base. So that's the purpose of doing that. So swimming would have two M's. Today, we're going to learn about the 2-1-1 rule. So this one is the 1-1-1 rule. One syllable with one short vowel followed by one babysitter. So now 2-1-1 stands for a word that has two syllables and only one vowel in the vase followed by one consonant babysitter. So how does this work? Well, it works a lot like the 1-1-1 rule, but we have to figure out, is the first syllable the important one or is the second? So if I want to know which syllable is important, I'm going to call the word to dinner. That sounds really crazy, doesn't it? Well, let's take a word like Sally, and imagine that the mom comes to the door and Sally's out playing and we want to call her to dinner. So the mom says, Sally. Do you hear that there's 2 syllables in that word? Sally. And one is going to be louder and longer when I shout for Sally at the door. Which side of the word is it, the Sal or the Lee? That's the loud or longer side when I shout for Sally. Sally. Do you hear it? The Sal part was the long part. So that's the stressed part. Try this one. Let's see. Shawna. Which side do you think is louder and longer in my name? It's the first syllable, isn't it? Shaw. In the 2-1-1 rule, if the syllable that bangs up against the suffix is the one that's stressed, and if the rule follows that there's one short vowel followed by one consonant, then we'll double the last consonant. But if it's the first syllable that's stressed, then it's saying the first syllable is the one that's important, so we will not double. Let's see. I'm just going to make a word here, and we're going to practice this because that's the best way to do it, is by showing, right? So you put your tiles away on your magnetic board there while I make a word here. Okay. So I have the word here, and we start with an open syllable, and then the second syllable is a closed one. So what is this word? Let's read the first syllable. So tap it. P, I, pie, o, ot, lot. Let's put the 2 together. Pilot. Okay, and I would like to turn pilot into piloting. He was piloting the plane. What I'd like to know is, do I have to double this T? Because it looks like this nice little closed syllable is bumping up against a suffix that starts with a vowel. So it looks like it would be a doubler on the surface, right? But because this is a 2-syllable word, pilot, we have to call pilot to dinner to know if it's going to need to get doubled. So let's call pilot to dinner. Pilot. Did you hear that one side was loud and long? Which syllable was the stressed one? Pilot. Did you say pie? If you did, that's right. So pie is the important syllable. Pie is an open syllable and it's not anywhere close to that suffix. So that means that the 2-1-1 rule is not coming into play. We do not have to double anything, so we spell piloting that way. Let's try a totally different word. Okay. And this time I'll let you call it to dinner. Missing a letter. There we go. I think I got it. Okay, so this word is going to consist of 2 closed syllables. Okay, let's read it first. We have this is our first syllable here. So, and tap and say this one. And then let's put both sides together. Did you get admit? If you did, that's right. I would like to turn admit into admitting. He is admitting that he ate an extra cookie. Eek. What I'm wondering is, do I need a double T there? So let's call admit to dinner to find out. Admit. Which side was the stressed part? Was it the ad or the mit? You try. Call admit to dinner. Did you say that mit was the stressed side? If you did, that's right. So, because mit is the stressed side, it's the important side. It's coming up against this suffix that starts with a vowel, so we have to think about the 2-1-1 rule. So there's 2 syllables. Is there one vowel followed by only one consonant? Yes, there is. So to spell admitting, we have to double the T. And that's how you spell admitting. Practice using the 2-1-1 rule by doing the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters in a rainbow shape for this one. Your sound is k. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is aw. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is mm. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. That's your prefix. So now tap it and say it. Did you get calm? If you did, that's right. Let's add a second syllable now. Your sound is p. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Eh. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Ul. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap that second syllable and say it. And then put the 2 syllables together to say the whole word. Did you get compel? When you force someone to do something, you compel them to do it. And you spell it C-O-M-P-E-L. Okay, I would like you to turn compel into compelling. She was compelling the child to sing a song. Okay, and what I'm wondering is when you add that suffix ing, so find the tiles for that and bring them down. I'm wondering if the L needs to get doubled. To find out, we need to call the compel to dinner. So call compel to dinner. And did you double the L? You do double the L. Compel. Pel is definitely the louder, longer side of that word. So because it follows the rule, it has the one short vowel followed by only one consonant, you would double the L. Great job. Now you can read your single word list and then your short story. After that, if your teacher has added a fluency element to your program, that's where that'll go. Do all that and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Your word is open. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will open the door. How many syllables do you hear in the word open? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. What's the first sound that you hear in open? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in open? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in open? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in open? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Did you spell that word O-P-E-N? If you did, that's right. Now try calling open to dinner. I'm wondering if the O part is louder or if the pen part is louder. When I call it to dinner, open. The O part is the part that rings out loud and clear. That's the stress side. So if I wanted to turn open into opening, how would I spell it? Add the letters that you need to add right now. Did you spell it O-P-E-N-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. We don't need to double the N on opening because O is the stressed syllable, not pen. Great job. You can put your tiles away. Now I'd like you to take out a lined piece of paper and a pencil, and you're going to write some single words. So I'd like you to tap it out as you hear it, and I'd like you to think about it in syllables. So you'll tap it out syllable by syllable, saying the sounds as you do it, then say the whole word, and then write it down. So your word is limit. Can you repeat that word? I might say you should always try to drive the speed limit. Okay, and then how many syllables do you hear in limit? Limit. I hear 2. So tap it out syllable by syllable and write it down. Did you spell it L-I-M-I-T? If you did, that's right. Now I'd like you to turn limit into limiting. And to do this, we'll have to call limit to dinner. Okay, call it to dinner and see which side of that word is the louder side. Is it lim or it? So did you double the T or not? In this word, you don't double a T because if I was going to call it to dinner, limit is the first side. That's the louder, longer side. So you would spell limiting, L-I-M-I-T-I-N-G. Great job. You can now do your sentences, writing your sentences. So your teacher will read all 3 sentences, and student, you can choose the 2 that you would like to write. After you write a sentence, make sure that you check your word with chops. Let's do a quick review before you go. In today's lesson, you learned about the 2-1-1 rule. This is about when we add a suffix that starts with a vowel to a 2-syllable word. When we have a closed syllable that's bumping up against that suffix that starts with a vowel in a multi-syllable word, we have to decide whether it's a doubler or not. So in this word, we start with an open syllable. So can you tap that one and say it? And then we have a closed syllable. So let's read this one. And then let's put the 2 together. So what's the word? That word is regret. When you feel sad about something that you've done, you might regret it. And I want to turn regret into regretting. So what I'm wondering is it spelled correctly, or do I have to double the T? To find out, we need to call regret to dinner. Regret! Which side of that word is longer and louder when I call it? Regret is the longer, louder side. So that means that I have to double that T. Regretting. And that is the 2-1-1 rule. You did a great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.